there is nothing which happens because you get stressed. Entrepreneurship is also a sort of commitment, like a marriage. You need to try and make it work. I don't question it as to why it happened this way.
Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Dilse Talk with CM. So hello everyone, welcome to my channel Dilse Talk with CM. Today we have a very special guest, Archana Vasudevan.
Hello.
Hi. She is the founder of Coco Oosh, which is a sustainable ethnic clothing brand. It offers clothing options for men, women and kids and it's based on comfort and care. She's also an IIM Alumni and has a 15 years corporate experience in banking. So welcome Archana. So Archana, you were in HDFC in a very good position. So what made you quit and start your venture?
Even when I joined corporate, I wanted to, after a couple of years into corporate, I wanted to get into something which had a social angle to it. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So exploring between, microfinance or corporate social responsibility, CSR, looking at multiple things, and this was like over a period of 3-4 years, I was thinking what I wanted to do. So once I had a chance meeting with a lady who works with weavers, handloom weavers. She's been working there for 15 years. That's when sort of there's a moment when it's striking. This is what I wanted to do. I had a lot of interest in handloom, weaving and everything. I used to follow it ardently. So somewhere, I felt that I could take it on from there. For handloom to survive, you need to have a contemporary use. Like people should be able to use it on a daily basis, right? So that's where it started. And I thought I should make clothes. Let me start a brand which has a contemporary wear. It's like an Indo-Western kind of a thing, using handloom and handcrafted ethnic fabrics of India. So that's how it started.
China, corporate banking and entrepreneurial journey both are very stressful roles. So, but I have seen you being very calm into those. So what is your secret?
Partly, that's my nature. I've seen my parents, like my father, he's very composed in these things. So you see and go that there's nothing which happens because you get stressed, right? So you just by getting stressed out. So it's okay to, a particular day doesn't go well the way you want to. It's okay. And I think what we need to do is look from there, how do we take it on? It's happened. Sometimes it's nice to accept things the way it is and then move forward from there. So I think somewhere it is, I don't question it as to why it happened this way. Because, in life, these are the things which, you need to expect. Like anything can happen. Just because you've done something doesn't mean the outcome has to be the way you predicted it.
True.
Right? So I think mentally when you're nimble, it gives you a lot of room to just think through, forward, look forward and think forward.
So was there times when you felt like giving up on this entrepreneurial, venture?
No, not once. See, there have been times when you really wonder where this would take you, how would you, is it going in the track which you originally envisaged, and those reflections I think you need to make. But I think entrepreneurship is also a sort of commitment, like a marriage. You need to try and make it work, and if a particular path that you started with doesn't work, then you probably need to take a path 2 and see if that works, and keep changing your strategy, changing your method to see which works. But primarily, if you're committed to what you thought of, for me, I think it was a passion. I liked the fact that I was doing this, taking the cost of the ethnic fabrics and somewhere bringing it as a brand. And I would love to see more and more people actually taking up wearing handloom, embracing the fabrics. So that's a passion for me. So I will take the path that brings in that takes me closer to the cause.
What are the misconceptions that people have, regarding sustainability or sustainable clothing?
See, I think most people associate one to cotton. People don't want to pay for cotton because they feel that most of the sustainable clothing, majority of it is cotton. So people are okay to pay a higher price for a bling, for a party wear, but they don't want to pay as much for a regular everyday wear. But the fact remains that this is something which you're going to wear on a daily basis. You need to be comfortable in what you're wearing. You know, your skin should be able to breathe, right? So people, I think, discount that quite a lot. And the other part is wash care. You know, people think, like I buy it at such a price, and then maintenance is so hard, the color runs. See, anything which is natural will have its expiry. You know, like if you go for synthetic, if you go for a raincoat, for instance, nothing will happen to the raincoat, right? But when you go for cotton stuff, it will wear out because it's made of natural, fabric. Similarly, the color will run if it is a natural color. There is a way to maintain it and preserve it. But there is something, basically comforting about wearing these clothes. So that is, I think, there's a lot of misconception there.
Archana, I remember the first time I spoke to you. I was sharing how I draw positive energy by sharing my suffering and being with others. I don't know whether it helps or not, but at the end of it, I do feel a bit weaker and vulnerable. But you told me something very powerful. You said that Chandana, the day you start drawing energy from within, things will change. And that kind of stood with me. Would you like to elaborate on
this? See, I think human mind is such that, you think I cannot go one more day, with this kind of a situation, but you can actually go miles after that if you just have to sustain that, pain or that suffering for that day, that inconvenience. But human mind is so powerful to actually take it on from there, and sustain for longer. We just have to be able to have patience and faith, gratitude that things will happen, if you do the right things. And I think just do your duty. That's where, it says do your duty and do not fret about or worry about the results. I think somewhere it makes a lot of sense, I think we should do the right things and leave it to God or leave it to, cosmos to sort of for things to fall in place. It may not happen at the pace you want it, but it will happen. I think it always helps to share things and, I think we should also have at times when we should be able to break that mental barrier and be able to share things also, because sometimes we may have dark, blind spots on something, which someone else will be able to tell us, like, the moment they look at it, because we are looking at it in one angle and we've not been able to crack the issue. Someone else can do it so easily because they're looking at it with a fresh pair of eyes. There's no harm in actually sharing it. Sometimes it lessens the burden, sometimes it just all you need is an outlet to, sort of let out your emotion. So absolutely no harm in it. But I think by and large, you can't always be dependent on an external factor. Eventually, I think we have to pick up the pieces and, build ourselves.
What were the challenges that you faced when you started with this company, and were there any specific challenges that you could think of which were quite big and you were able to overcome it?
The challenges when I started, okay, I had no academic background on this. I just had an interest and intent, but I didn't have the academic interest nor academic background, nor did I have the family background of people having this run this business. Nor have I had a work experience. So I was from a totally different industry, different ecosystem. So I had to build everything from the beginning. So I knew it is going to be difficult because so one, you come from a corporate role where everything happens because of your being a part of a label also, right? A big brand. So that doesn't happen when you're in an entrepreneur. First thing that you need to understand is you're an individual. So whatever happens is happening because of your individual, branding. So that is something which I think it's going to be harder, longer task. But what happens is when you start something with passion, I think the whole thing becomes an easier journey. And for me, the largest so I had just kept it open. I had not planned because we were going to start it small, right? So I hadn't done a big research or anything. I just knew there was a need gap there in the space where you had very good fabrics in India, which not too many people are using to make the day-to-day wear. So I felt that if we started a brand with that, I think that will do well. So the good designs always came from abroad. When we bought our own our kids wear or for ourselves, it always comes from a Gap or any other brand from the US, but it never was something. So I wanted to have simple, good designs. So that was a basic research that I did, and I started this. So everything is a learning. So every single discovery was, a learning path. And, of course, there were mistakes. There were things you had to retrace. And the thing is, when you make a mistake, you don't stick to it. You think, okay, this is the thing which we need to change the course. The other challenge was COVID. So as soon as I was ready to launch, COVID started, and so almost for 1.5 years there was a lot of we couldn't really move forward because a lot of things, logistics, stitching, people didn't come, we didn't have a website ready, so there were so many things. You just had to stay put and hope that things will settle down. So those were the challenges. And initially I also started with 2 brands, and then we changed course during the course for adults and this thing, and then we realized that it's going to be very difficult to run 2 brands simultaneously. It's going to take a lot of bandwidth, and then we changed the strategy there, made it all in one group. So those were the things which we did, and I think somewhere all these are learning, and as long as we're willing to unlearn and relearn, I think it's fine.
You have twins, right? So how do they perceive you as a founder?
They are very proud.
They are very proud.
They are, yeah. So they go and tell everyone, I'm very busy, and she runs her own business, and they're very proud to see the place. And of course, it's very, even for myself, no matter even if you work in a corporate, it's a very different thing. I personally feel that I have learned a lot. I have learned to learn. Very quickly in very many different things. Learn to question things where I have absolutely no knowledge on. Learn to manage people. All these little things, I think you start when you start from scratch and you own everything, like own up the responsibility. That's when it happens. And I'm very, very happy that even we've grown this far. We've come this far. We have sort of listed ourselves in different websites and interacted with bigger, websites, and we know, okay, we match up to the standards. And when people come back with a lot of positive reviews saying your quality is good, your pricing is good, and all that, so it's a very satisfying feeling to create something and see that, grow.
Are there any quotes or mantras that you follow, when you are down and you're stressed out, which help you get through the day?
Yes, I think when I started the journey, I had no academic background or learning experience, work experience with regard to. Neither did I have anybody in the family who had done this clothing business. But somewhere, there's a popular thing called, which goes like, the journey for 1,000 miles begins with one step. Right? So you need to start somewhere. You need to begin, and then things will, you learn over a period, and things will fall in place. Sometimes we do overanalyze a lot about, because we are so scared to fail. We wonder and rework and plan as to whether we are doing the right thing. But I think it helps to just start with a big plan and keep reiterating it as you go. Somewhere we need to begin to be able to take that journey. Right? It's a very interesting thing which I read in Atomic Habits. Okay? So it says there was an experiment conducted, and this stuck to me like anything. So there was an experiment conducted in 2 groups. They were asked to take photographs. So one group was given marks based on quantity, and one was rated based on their quality of picture. So at the end of I think a month or so, what happened was the team which did the quantity-based marking, they had to take multiple pictures because they had to give as many pictures to score marks. And the other group was trying to get out the best picture. So eventually it turned out that the team which was given the rating based on quantity came up with a better picture by sheer number of times they've taken pictures. So that's what happens in most part of our life, sometimes we shouldn't just overanalyze. We should start the journey with some basic plan and things will fall in place.
That was a very powerful story.
So, what are the future plans for Coco Oosh? Where do you see Coco Oosh?
Coco Oosh, we really want to take it, I won't see a month-on-month growth, and right now we are in a good space, we've done the basic, we know that the customer feedback has been very good. We've set up all the system in place in terms of vendors, dealers, supply chain. We want to just increase the quantity, volume, and keep growing it and make it an international brand. Get to the other markets also, because we see a lot of appreciation coming from people abroad also. So we need to be able to set up an overseas market and build that. So there are a lot of plans in terms of building the online presence multi-fold. So just hoping that these things work out.
So we are nearing the end of this interview. Archana, to wrap up, just what is the message that you would like to give to the aspiring women who want to start their entrepreneurial journey, be it homemaker, be it working professional? What is the message that you would like to
I would definitely tell them to plan it first. First thing is you should be very sure of what you want to do. It's a nice thing to be wanting to be an entrepreneur, but I think the idea should drive you than just wanting to. That a particular idea should be able to pull you. I knew I wanted to do something different, but it took me about 5 years of ruminating and thinking through to even come to a point where I knew this is what I want. That's okay. So till that point, you keep doing your homework, your background check, and plan the financial part also parallelly, because you need to have a portion set aside to sustain, to account for the fact that you may not be getting paid during that time. Take care of your finances and also set aside a finance for this, investment. I think that planning should be there. Start small, test it out, see if it works, and then expand it. I think we should keep a lot of buffer, in terms of giving us room to fail and take a second course, plan B. For that, we should have a buffer, and that kind of a planning should be there, and then just start somewhere.
So thank you, Archana, for that amazing session. There's so much that we could all learn from. So I hope you enjoyed the session as I did. So we will also take you to local studio and see her amazing collections. And if you like what you see, do check out her website and you can order yourself. So let's go. Showing your studio. So guys, I hope you loved the second episode of Successful Women series and you learned a lot from this interview. And if you love ethnic clothing, sustainable clothing, do check out her website and order some beautiful, amazing dresses for yourself, your kids, spouse. So the details are in the description. If you like this content, please like and subscribe my channel. Bye bye.